So I certainly understand the trepidation about an all-girls school. I mean, after all, our daughters are doing better than our sons on many measures. They're getting better grades, they're more likely to go to college, and they're roughly 50% of college graduates. So I do get it, but let me express to you two of the many reasons why I think this is a great and necessary idea. See, our daughters' hard-earned good results in school don't always turn into good results when they leave school. So we have to ask ourselves whether the grades and degrees are enough if our daughters are actually still earning less than men with the same credentials. Should we say to ourselves, okay, we can stop advocating for our daughters because they are 57% of college graduates when they are still only 34% of MBAs, less than 30% of computer scientists, 15% of engineers, 9% of hedge fund managers? No, these are numbers that are related to fields like STEM and finance, these high demand, high paying fields that are, quite frankly, driving the world economy. I don't see how we tell our daughters, it's okay that you're behind. Should we proclaim mission accomplished because our daughters are, again, 57% of college graduates when they are just 20% of Congress people, 12% of governors, 18% of Fortune 500 board members, and 5% of CEOs? What do we say? Oh, honey, it's okay. Don't you worry your pretty little head. Running a company or a state, that's just not for you. Leave those decisions up to the boys, right? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Do we tell them not to worry their pretty little head because, I don't know, STEM and finance fields are too stressful and they can't handle it? Come on. Those days have long since passed. And that's not something I expect from my daughter and any daughter that walks through Genesis Innovation Academy's doors. Not on my watch. See, it's not that my daughter has to be an engineer or a head fudge manager. She doesn't have to aspire to be in political leadership. What I do need, though, is for her to believe that it's possible, even normal, for her to do those things, and that her only limitation would be her passion or her interest, but certainly not her gender. The second, and perhaps the most compelling reason for a girls' school, is it works. I mean, all the credible research on this topic overwhelmingly concludes that girls do better when there are less boys around. Well, that's interesting because I don't know why we don't see more schools. My guess is it's politics. And I don't do politics. I'm an educator. My job is to find strategies that work and to use them to elevate the performance of our children. Well, we found one. And it would be pretty irresponsible, don't you think, if we didn't pursue it? And I'm also a father of a beautiful, talented, and amazing daughter. And my job as her father, her covering, her champion, is to give her the best chance of success that I possibly can. And I believe that this is my daughter's best chance of success, and I am committed to providing that chance to her and every other daughter of Genesis. Right, I understand that. I understand there's a concern about girls being in an all-girls environment. A lot of parents are wondering, yes, how will they develop the social skills necessary to create positive interactions, productive interactions, and relationships with boys and young men later in life? Fair. First of all, there is a Genesis Academy for boys. And yes, there will be interaction. But that interaction will occur at the discretion of the parents, the teachers, the administrators. Because see, for too long, our children have controlled all of this. They've decided when they want to interact, when they want to interact, and how they want to interact. And quite frankly, that has not worked for this community. The adults need to take some authority back. Secondly, my hope for my daughter is that she will have the time and the opportunity to figure out who she is before some knucklehead boy tells her who she is. It's not his job to impart, to cover, and to speak life into my daughter. That's a father's job. That's a mother's job. That's what the adults in the village do. So yeah, I expect her to develop relationships with young men at some point when she is ready. When she understands that she has a calling and a purpose on her life that is way more important than anything a boy or man can offer her. When she learns to look inward and upward for her strength and not to somebody else. Then she'll be ready. So yeah, our first priority at Genesis Innovation Academy for our daughters, it's not whether they understand young men is that they understand themselves. So our goal is to create an environment where our daughters are supported in becoming the strong, independent, and empowered young women of purpose that they were supposed to be. Women of confidence, courage, and vision. The kind of vision that will sustain them for the rest of their lives. So do we need an all-girls school? Oh yeah, if we want our daughters to be all they